Live from Austin, Texas, with host Rosie Newberry. Local trends, shopping, and more. This is Studio 512.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for Studio 512. This coming Saturday, May 3rd, Simple Promise Farms is hosting its inaugural prom, which is a celebration meant to bring hope, healing, and joy to individuals and families impacted by addiction. Founder Brandon Gwynn and board president Tommy Lee are here to tell us more about the event and their mission. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you both here in the studio. And Brandon, of course, I want to go back to the beginning if we can. We've had you on the show before, but if you could remind everybody what Simple Promise is.
Simple Promise Farms was founded to create a space for healing and growth for people struggling with mental health and addiction. We offer meaningful work. We offer a healing environment for workshops, for farmers markets. We take men and women struggling with addiction. We put them to work in our farmers markets. The produce, everything they grow on the farm, they take out there. We're in Mueller Farmers Market. We're in Lakeline Farmers Market. We're in Barton Creek Farmers Market. And again, it's just a space where we can try to change the stigma of what people struggling with addiction look like.
And it's really fascinating, some of the outcomes you've seen of people who get their hands into the dirt, who spend the time in the sun. Mm-hmm. They feel this incredible, amazing internal feeling of being able to grow something that then people can eat. It's kind of totally changing the way they've thought maybe about themselves or their abilities before, right?
And, it's that human connection. It's that hands in the dirt. It's, rather than sitting in a fluorescent light listening to someone talk to you all day long, your recovery is about human connection, about a shared experience with the people that are having that same connection that you have.
And I think it's incredible. Okay, Tommy, let's talk about the Simple Promise Prom.
Yes.
I'd love to hear about how you guys came up with this idea and what the event's going to be all about.
Yeah. Well, this gentleman
This
here
guy
came up with it. And
unsurprised. He's a genius.
As he likes to joke, it was one of the events that his wife actually gave the thumbs up for. But opportunity for anybody from 18 to 80 who maybe has never experienced prom, or maybe didn't have the best experience the first time in prom, or had a great experience, who wants to relive it. And so we're based around the recovery community, but open to everybody. Anybody who really shares our purpose of, as you mentioned, a holistic approach to life and really, interacting with everything. We're going to have music, we're going to have food, we're going to have tattoos, we're going to have casino games, we're going to have a Rolls Royce out there, we're going to have a red carpet, we're going to have everything. So really an opportunity for everyone in the recovery community and beyond to interact and enjoy prom.
That sounds great. And I think about high school proms, that was the time that a lot of people started maybe experimenting.
Yeah.
Right? And so maybe their prom was not a good experience for them, or maybe even a slightly traumatic experience. This is a great opportunity to go back clean, family, fun, and you can dance the night away with people who are not drinking. So it's not like you're going back to the prom and there are other people who are up at the bar getting wine and things like that. You're out there having fun with everybody who's kind of thinking the same way.
100%. An experience to remember, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are going to have great mocktails there as well. And so you get the whole prom experience while waking up pretty good the next day.
Should we dress up like prom?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, can we do whatever we want? Can we do a throwback if we wanted to?
We love the throwback.
Because I think we've got a prom picture of you, Brandon. I was looking through the prom pictures submitted this morning, and I was thinking, that looks like a very young Brandon to me. Oh, my goodness. Handsome dude, though. Always has been. Okay, Brandon, let's talk about why it matters so much to give people kind of this opportunity.
When you really look at people in early recovery, they've had, maybe 2 or 3 months of early sobriety. I think so many young people think whenever, now I can't drink, I can't have fun. Drugs and alcohol have been something that kind of gave them that superpower, that social anxiety was gone.
Yep.
This gives people a space to really reconnect with like-minded people. Everybody in there is going to be someone that has the same experience as them, and a place to enjoy and fun, and to bring all those things under the same roof and really give them a new experience. Because when you can, again, like Tommy said, when you can remember your night, you remember what happened the night before, and just the joy and the food and the camaraderie and the fellowship that it takes place at the event.
And the cutting a rug on a dance floor kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Tommy's going to be out there showing us.
I was going to say, we're going to see some moves, I have a feeling. All right. Tommy, I want to talk about how the community can support y'all, because obviously we want folks to come out to prom, but it's possible if someone already had a weekend plans. So how else can we do it?
Well, outside of coming, which tickets are free, so everyone's invited, and all you have to do is RSVP. We are taking sponsors to be able to help out, make this event free for the community, help support the community. So you can jump on simplepromisefarms.org and donate through there. We've got a sponsorship page as well. And really just any way that you think it can support the event and make sure that, the community in general has an incredible time.
Absolutely. You guys have a webpage on Zeffy, I think, Zeffy, which will be in our web article on studio512tv.com later today. But knowing that the tickets are free, that's free fun right there, everybody. But you guys, I have a feeling, want to know how many people are coming just so you can plan appropriately, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So the RSVP is a big deal. Brandon, let's now talk about some of the farming angle, if we can. CSA box, talk me through it.
So and this is something we just started in the past couple months. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up a subscription box for the community where they can basically get farm fresh produce weekly. And it'll be whatever's in season. You'll get, a pick of the regular rotation of vegetables in season, and we'll have a weekly delivery location. So this is something that's very new to us. We have a new farm manager that just came on recently, and the amount of production is far exceeded what we've had, in the past. So we're trying to figure out a way to make sure we get the produce in the right hands.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And you pick?
You pick us every day till 4.
Oh my gosh, happening every day.
10 to 4. You come out to the farm. There's always staff there. So we've had a lot of people, especially in the Elgin community, but it's open for anybody in the Austin community, surrounding areas. Come out. You don't get any fresher produce than directly out of the ground.
Directly from the farm. That's right. Okay, gentlemen, I think it's really cool what you're doing, and thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, tickets are available on, or I should say, please RSVP on Zeffy.com, and you can learn more about the organization right now at simplepromisefarms.org. Have you ever wondered what goes into creating your favorite comics and graphic novels? Award-winning documentary filmmaker, journalist, and storyteller Skye Wallen is joining us today to talk about his very cool upcoming release, Wolf's Edge. We're so excited to have him in studio. Good morning, Skye.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, and so the first thing I want to ask you, Skye, is about the origins of Wolf's Edge. This is a pretty cool story, and I want to hear your inspiration behind it.
Sure. Honestly, the story came from 15 years ago when in film school, I created this character named Sam Wolf, this sort of folk hero of a magical forest. This boy jumps into this magical wood, and I made a series of short films with my little cousin at the time. He was 9 years old. And over about 10 years, we made many short films together as he grew up. And a couple of years ago, my producing partner, Gabor Harmat, he came to Austin, and I said, I want to reinvent this story, make it totally different. And so we kind of flipped it inside out, and we created Wolf's Edge, which, and then it became a graphic novel that we hope to turn into a movie one day.
Man, okay, exciting stuff. I do want to ask what a graphic novel is, just because you were able to give me a really good parallel for everybody who maybe is not a graphic novel fan at home. We're trying to educate.
Sure, they're visual stories. So, I'd say all graphic novels are comics. Not all comics are graphic novels.
Gotcha.
In terms of structure, a typical comic might be 24 pages. They come out in different issues. Ours, we have a 3-issue story, and they're unconventional lengths. So the first issue is 28 pages. The second one is 36. The third one is 48.
Wow.
I think it's going to end up being, and we're going to combine all those into volume 1. So I'd say graphic novels are typically breaking structure. They're not as rigid in terms of page length.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's less about kind of like a turn and burn story style, and it ends at the end of the comic at about 27 odd pages.
Right.
This is more of an elongated story
Yeah.
form. Okay, very interesting to know. I know you can't tell us a ton about what the actual story is about, but if you could just give us a little bit of an idea.
For sure. The Wolf's Edge tells the story of Richard Kilbourne and his son Isaac. It's Isaac's 18th birthday. They live in Austin. We featured Austin in the first issue.
Cool.
And Richard is a famed author of the Sam Wolf series, and it's like a fantasy kid series. And his son hasn't read the book, and they go on this trip. The father's going to sell out to this movie mogul, Wanda Kinsey. And on the trip, as the father's kind of selling out his IP, they crash. And Isaac washes up on a deserted island with only the father's book that he's never read. And he basically becomes this sort of twisted version of his father's character, Sam Wolf.
Oh, fascinating. You were telling me kind of a meta idea, right?
Yeah.
His father's book kind of becomes his spiritual guide.
It does.
Along the way. So a lot of adventure to be had, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I ask about the process of creating a graphic novel, because you've actually brought bits and pieces of the entire story work here, which
That's
is so
true.
cool. You even have, guys, look at how thick this is. This is the script that you started with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you worked hand in hand very closely with a friend who is an artist.
Yeah, so Gabor and I wrote this screenplay together. So this is kind of, it's just to give you an idea of how this process, so this is kind of what we ended up with. And then we found Artur Varai, who's an incredible artist, and he took the script and adapted it into visual images.
He is, I can't get over the level of detail that I'm seeing in the eyes. There's a beach scene up here and running through the water. If you wouldn't mind turning just a little bit more.
of course.
Of course.
This is
That
all
way people
hand-drawn.
can see. That's incredible.
No AI. And so this is just to kind of give you an example of before and after here. So
Here are the little eyes afterwards.
Yeah,
My goodness,
this is
once we
kinda
got color into
what
it.
we're doing. So Artur has just done such an incredible job, and
Wow.
these
And
are-
the amount of expression he's able to get out of some of these faces.
right.
So that is really cool. And
Yeah.
I know you as the author wanted to have a ton of oversight of this was my dream. I need to see this come to life the right way.
For sure. I mean, I think the key in this, all these arts are collaborative mediums, and you just have to find the right people and let them fly.
Yeah.
Because making art in chains is no fun, and over micromanaging is also just doesn't. It makes it not fun.
Sure.
The work has to be fun because it bleeds onto the page.
Absolutely. So a lot of inspiration for Artur, and then he gets to run
Yeah,
with it.
right.
Okay, I wanted to ask about your Kickstarter, because you've got one going.
Yep.
And you said actually kind of this is the way the comic book world is working right now. So can you educate us a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, the publishing industry, Diamond Comics is the biggest distributor. They just filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time for traditional the comic industry. But Kickstarter has become a wonderful home for indie creators like ourselves, and we are able to directly interact with lovers of comics, lovers of graphic novels, lovers of stories, cool stories. And yeah, so basically right now you can essentially pre-order the books. And
So we're kickstarting you by giving you money, but in return, we get to be one of the first people, right, who get to have these graphic novels
absolutely,
in our
and
hands.
there's special covers and stuff, like this plastic double cover, which is really fun. That's that's the
yeah.
limited edition.
This is super cool. Look at this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And this is paying for the printing, the artists, and allowing us to continue the work.
Yeah,
So-
it is. It's a lot of work, and
Yeah, it is.
I honor you for that.
It
Okay,
is.
you're also a filmmaker, as you were talking about with your cousin, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
What are your hopes for the future of Wolf's Edge?
Well, we're really just focused on the Kickstarter, getting books into hands, getting reactions, interacting with the audience, and hopefully make this. I mean, we are making this into a feature film, so there's a lot of steps ahead of that. But the key is to grow an audience. So any support in that realm helps us to continue and grow, indie storytelling.
I think it's so huge, and we're supporting a local Austin artist, and Austin gets featured a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
There's some skyline stuff. There's the bridge. There's Lady Bird.
Oh,
It's
very
all in there.
cool. Well, congratulations on everything you've achieved so far. I can't
you.
wait for Volume 2 to come
Yeah.
out. Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Sky.
it.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
Rosie.
it. Of
Thank you
course.
both.
Wolf's Edge just launched on Kickstarter at the start of April and is available there now until the end of the month. But you can also follow along for updates and learn more. We want you to support them by heading to samwolf.net. It's Mental Health Monday. Today we're focusing on how athletes can maintain their mental health with help from a local nonprofit, Empower Culture. Former D1 athlete Tavares Blanchard now works as a player development coach and mental performance coach for Empower, and he's joining us to tell us more. So Tavares, good morning.
Thanks. Good morning, Rosie.
Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about your background.
Okay.
You, of course, played D1 basketball.
Correct.
Can you tell us just a bit about your career as an athlete?
So my career as an athlete, I guess in short, I could add a whole bunch of different pieces and dynamics, but had a successful high school career. Originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, so that's where I spent my time as a high school athlete. Was fortunate to receive a Division I scholarship to Southwest Texas at the time, which we, transitioned into Texas State.
While you were there.
While I was there.
You're proud of being, part of the transition
Yes,
team.
yeah. And so being able to play there at the what I consider the highest level and compete against the UTs and the Power Fives, it was an incredible experience. Being a captain on the team, and we talked shortly about favorites, having that favoritism, and just being a huge asset to the entire team. And over that, time span, just focusing on just maximize the opportunity. So that's pretty much my story in short.
I know, we could go on
yeah,
much
right?
longer, couldn't we? But
Right.
were there ever any, mental health resources that now that we've gotten older, you've started to see or have access to that you thought, we weren't even talking about that stuff back in the early 2000s?
That is very fitting because it's almost like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, we didn't have access to it if it did exist. And now that I see, I guess the major disparity and the deficiencies in what these young athletes are having to deal with, and all of the barriers and challenges they're having to face, just emotionally, socially, psychologically, social acceptance. You're talking about, the digital world that can
That's tough.
push conformity in your face constantly. And so we didn't have that stuff. Low on the end of, no cell phones, and it wasn't important for me to always have my phone with me, or even the pressure of, needing to compete and to have a sense of belonging. It's almost like we had to carry that stuff with us in order for us to push past those challenges and barriers. But I believe it would have made a significant difference or played a significant role if we had access to those resources.
Sure.
Because
even before social media took off,
right.
there was still bullying in school.
Yeah.
There was still bullying from upperclassmen,
That's right.
or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially when you're in something like basketball or football where muscle tone is so important, there's kind of image issues.
And it's kind of it's its own fraternity in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so you deal with those internal issues, those barriers, and a lot of times you keep a muzzle to it because you don't want to feel like you're the outcast.
Absolutely.
Of, hey man, I reported this and this happened to me. So in a way you internalize it, which is not healthy for you to move forward with. And you are kind of eggshelling around the guys that you're going to be with for quite some time, for 3-4+ years. And so having the courage to and the confidence to address those things is what kids are dealing with now, and they don't have as much confidence or the courage to actually speak against the things they're struggling with.
And this is what we want to help them with,
Correct.
right? You talk about the 3 E's when you're helping these young athletes navigate these struggles. What
Correct.
are those E's?
So what are the 3 E's, Rosie?
I could maybe do them after you told me. One of them's energy.
That's right.
One of them's enthusiasm.
Oh, you got one more.
Effort.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, I
3
passed the
concept.
quiz.
3 concept. So effort, energy, enthusiasm, all of those things within a balance and a line really give you those like successful, like intentional results. And obviously if they're unaligned and you may go into a practice like, hey, we talked about those energy levels. If I'm at a 60% energy level, then it's going to affect my effort and it's going to affect my enthusiasm. I'm not going to be as excited to be around my teammates, or I may have some issues or problems at home where my grades may be struggling. So again, those barriers you're carrying with them almost in your pocket as you move along throughout your day. But the 3 concept is really just helps kids just navigate, and those are the controllables. Like it's kind of center focused around these are the controllables, and these are the things that I can focus on, and they become, I call them actionable rules.
Yeah.
So it's
and
literally
you want
turns
them
into
to communicate.
it turns
Hey,
from
if I'm
an
at
idea.
60.
Yep, it turns from an idea to, hey, this is what I need to have in place to have intentional results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let your coaches know, let your teachers know.
That's right.
Because if they know what's going on with you, they can help out better. I want to
Correct.
make sure I ask what mental performance coaching actually is.
So mental performance coaching to me is, and I like to use descriptive words because that matters. Mental performance coaching is destroying like mental barriers that affect like an athlete's performance. So being able to like navigate, again, we touch on, I call it the trifecta, right? Social, emotional, psychological. Being able to have those 3 things in a balance, kind of makes you feel, I guess it gives you like a superpower. So you have a balance of, all right, socially, like, hey, how do I deal with my interactions, my communications, my relationships? What kind of relationships do I have? Are they valuable? Should I clean closet and build some new ones? The psychological part of it, mental health is one of the parts that I love because it focuses on the mind, the brain, how you think, how you process, like how you make decisions, how you connect, basically how you connect the dots. And then obviously the last part is the emotional part, being self-aware and being able to self-regulate. Again, if given that resource back then, helps you just deal with the challenges of life completely different, and you don't go into a hiding like I see. Again, it's really that's what's really pushing me to go after the mental performance coaching, is these kids are dealing with so much, and it's becoming a dominating like thought in their mind. Like, and so a lot of times, Rosie, it's how do I really checklist like what's circulating in my mind, and with the emotions, it's like, well, if going unchecked, like it can really overshadow, like, because a lot of things, because it's not connected to reality. So if they would, sometimes I would be told, it's like facts over feelings. Well, sometimes it is important for us to say, like, what's the reality of my thoughts? Like, is this real? Is this true about me? So if we can give kids those strategies to overcome those barriers, then it helps them to, it's like the roadmaps
reach
that
their
they can
full
follow.
potential.
So they can get to optimal, and not even just, even to me, outside of the sport, holistically looking at the entire kid. Because you being an athlete doesn't define who you are, and your mistakes doesn't define who you are.
That's such an important thing to say.
Yeah.
I happen to be athletic, I happen to play, but if I lose that spot on the team, it doesn't change forevermore.
That is
who I am.
correct.
Oh man, I
That's
could
correct.
talk for a lot longer with you, but we're going to have to
That's right.
stop it here. Tavares,
right.
thank you so much
Thank you
for
for
your
having me.
time. All right, to learn more about how you can support this nonprofit or get involved, head to empower-culture.com. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Grapes and Rye, LLC. Hey, are you looking to elevate your next gathering? Grapes and Rye can bring the party to you with their mobile tap trailer, or they can help you with your bartending skills thanks to their mixology classes. Here to tell us more today are the owners Lawrence Williams and Rachel Green Williams. And Rachel, our very first question is for you. What inspired you guys to start Grapes and Rye, and where did the name come from?
That's a good question. So we actually started the business about 4 years ago. We actually started it in our home. We love to entertain. We always open up our home to family, friends, and we would create cocktails in our kitchen. And some of our friends were like, these are amazing. You all need to start selling this. You need to turn this into a business. And after a while, we actually agreed that we wanted to turn our passion into profit.
Lawrence, I do want to ask about some of the most popular classes that you offer, because I was surprised by the answer to this.
Absolutely. So one of our most popular classes is our gin tasting class. So what's very great about our gin tasting class is when participants come, the first thing they get is a welcome cocktail that's based on the gin. And then they sit down, they taste between 6 to 8 different gins. We talk about the history of gin, how it's made, but we also offered classes on different other spirits, such as whiskey, tequila. We have a Scotch class on the 26th. And so we're very, very excited about those classes and how our participants have received them.
What you're trying to do is educate people. You want them to be able to walk into a bar the next time, they go after having one of these classes and know a little bit more about what they should ask for or what they actually like.
Yeah, nothing makes me smile more than getting a text or a phone call from one of the participants of our class, and they're like, I'm at a bar and I ordered this drink and I actually called out the spirit that I tasted in your class, and now I feel like I'm doing something. So it really inspires us and makes us smile when we know that our participants are learning.
All right, Rachel, so if someone's watching today, you've piqued their interest and they want to come in, maybe have a class, or they're throwing a party and they're interested in having you come to them. Where can they learn more?
Well, you can find everything on our website at grapesandrye.com. You can also follow us on all of our social media accounts. What we try and do is post up our classes a month in advance, so you have ample time to check it out, buy your tickets, get friends together and do that. We do a lot of corporate mixology classes for team buildings, so you name it, we can provide it. So it's all about us getting out to the community and the community coming into our space as well.
Y'all, thank you so much for your time. Very cool idea here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Get tickets to upcoming classes now and learn about catering your next event at grapesandrye.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Grapes and Rye, LLC. Welcome back, everybody. Mother's Day, of course, is coming up. Are you looking for a great spot for brunch? Mother's Ruin Cocktail Bar is launching their new brunch, and despite their name, they actually have a really fun event planned for Mom. Scotty Bonaguro, bar manager, and Donnie Counts, executive chef, are joining us to tell us more. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thanks for being here. Scotty, y'all recently opened here in Austin. Very exciting for us because you've had some successful concepts elsewhere. What made Austin stand out? Why'd you want to come to us?
We love the community of Austin. We're a neighborhood bar. We thrive on the community, and this market really showed promise for that. And since we've been open 5 weeks now, everyone's just really supported us, and it's been amazing.
Good, yeah. We are kind of a foodie place, aren't we?
You are. Yep. Undeniable.
He came from Nashville and he said, Austin's better. Shh. Don't tell anybody. All right, let's talk, Donnie, about the French toast that you're making for us today, because you've got some wonderful things starting to sizzle.
Yes.
First of all, what is the French toast?
So the French toast it's a cinnamon toast French toast. So it's cinnamon toast crunch that we've ground down, that we bread the brioche bread
like the
with.
cereal that I was obsessed with
Like
as
the
a kid?
cereal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and we make a custard, which is just heavy cream, eggs, nutmeg, cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla paste, dunk the bread in, get the crumbs on, and you're ready to go.
And you said that brioche and rich dough challah bread
Yes.
combo.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes for really light,
It's really
delicious.
light, fluffy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
stays
love
real
this
light.
sound.
we-
And the way he described those ingredients so fast, you know he's good at what he
Sorry.
does. He's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so easy. Just throw in the
Sorry,
cream
sorry.
and the vanilla.
yeah, the other thing that we're gonna do is, so we make a sauce for it.
Okay.
I use some of the rum from Scotty's Bar.
Okay.
Granny Smith apples and some butter, brown sugar, and then you flambe it. And so right now I have apples and butter simmering. So it's getting hot. This is going to get hot for the French toast, and then we'll make the sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good to me. Okay, so right now those apples have just been simmering in butter. Like, I'm surprised at how easy these ingredients are so
Yeah,
far.
so butter, it'll release a little. You don't want to cook it down too much. You want a little bit of a crunch in the apple.
And the Granny Smith always carries a little more flavor through to the end.
Correct.
Right?
They're, and they're also a little tart.
Because I don't want to eat them when when it's just a Granny Smith apple, too tart for me.
They're good
but
for,
they're good for cooking.
They're good for things you have a lot of sugar in because they're tart. So it balances it out a little bit, right? And then I'm going to add some brown sugar. I'm not going to
This
measure
so
it.
far is something I can do at home. 3 ingredients.
Yeah, super easy.
I can't ruin it so far.
No, and really no measurement. It's you just kind of just make it happen.
Really?
Well,
okay.
I mean, in the kitchen, yes.
I can't
But
flip
not-
it.
not at
yeah,
home- not
you
at- not at home.
guys
Yeah, yeah,
measure
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But I can't do the flip. But so this is pretty impressive to watch.
I'm going to go ahead and set these in
All
here.
right.
And we'll get these going.
Get them starting to fry up a little bit.
Yep.
They are going to be a filling meal as well. My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then of course when you have such great, delicious, decadent things to treat yourself with at brunch, we like to combine it with good beverages. So,
a good beverage to wash it down.
brunch every day is a staple of Mother's Ruin. Open at 11 in the morning, every single day, every holiday, every snow day. We are open and ready to go. So here
I was going to say, you brought a drink
I
for
did,
us.
yeah. Right now we're featuring this and our menu revolves very often. So today what I brought here is a pomegranate pina colada with Florida Caña. Florida Caña has been great enough to help us support our new moving brunch parties that we'll be kicking off with.
Okay, and I have to hear about brunch parties.
Yeah, so for the month of May, starting to go with DJs and just a really nice collective of activations for people in the community to come and enjoy. So we have some disco, we have some funk, we have some hip hop, DJ atmosphere. So a little upbeat for a Mother's Ruin brunch, but
So what time are we talking these DJs start?
1 to 4.
1 to 4. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not the 10 to 11 a.m.
Right.
like, woo!
Still winding up, still getting your,
Okay, you need maybe a little French toast in your stomach before you get the party going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. You also have a challenge for Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
We do. This began 3 years ago. This will be the 3rd event. Mother's Ruin Mother's Day Challenge. Last year we had almost 300 participants.
Wow.
What the challenge consists of is on Mother's Day, be it that we are Mother's Ruin, our diehard clientele likes to visit each one of our locations. Last year it was New York, Chicago, and Nashville. So they have to hit all those locations within the span of our operating hours.
What?
And in doing so, they're rewarded. So you become a Mother's Ruin legend. You get a nice gold card. If you do the 3 locations, you get a beer a day for life. If you do the 3 locations and get a tattoo of our logo, you get a cocktail a day for life. Now, this year, we have a 4th location, Austin, Texas.
A little bit more difficult.
A little bit more difficult. So, to expect everyone to who wants to participate, do all 4 locations is a little bit of a stretch. So we're asking 3 locations. One of them needs to be Austin, Texas, the newest of the 4 locations.
Aha.
And
I like that you're forcing people to come to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we want everybody to
it's-
come down and check it out.
It's definitely worth checking out.
Oh,
And it's
sure.
definitely worth being a part of. It becomes this really amazing event. So
And you had 300 participants last
we
year?
did. We did.
Some people are impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive right there, because there are a couple of flights in between.
It's
and
a
during-
logistical challenge.
A
For
logistical
sure.
challenge.
Not
okay.
everybody makes it. Not everybody makes
Can
it.
you imagine though if you set out to make it and like
Yeah.
the plane got delayed and
It happens. It happens.
you have to try for next year. Okay, so I'm hearing that this gold card is
Yes.
the thing you want to get your hands on.
That is the prize. Now you also, if you do get the tattoo in addition to conquering that feat, You get the black card, and that rewards you a cocktail a day for life.
Cocktail a day
and
for life.
Just bragging rights for the most part, and
Yeah.
just feel part of a tribe and a
And
community.
you've got to go with some friends because you're going to have a blast together. That sounds amazing to me. Okay, I didn't know what challenge we would be talking about, but boy, that's an impressive one. All right, so if we were to walk in today, and Donnie, it looks like you're getting pretty
close.
far along,
Yeah.
with those French toasts.
So you want to go ahead and plate it?
They're beautiful, yeah, if you wouldn't mind. What would you say if someone were to come in, for the very first day to brunch and say, hey, what's good on the menu here besides the cinnamon toast crunch French toast?
So the French toast, and then we also do breakfast burritos. That's a really popular one. You can do it vegetarian, or you can do it with chorizo, so you have an option. We have a smash burger. We have a chicken sandwich. We're doing our wings are really good. We do a Cholula hot honey wing.
Ooh. Why don't
really
you go
good.
ahead and pour the
Yeah.
sauce, because we're in our last few seconds here, and I just want people to see the finished
See if I can
vision.
do it like this.
Yeah, there we go. Woohoo! And I will
that's
say,
that.
I know it's not smell-o-vision yet, y'all, but
Oh,
it smells so good in here.
And then with just a little bit to key it off.
Of
This is-
course.
this
The
is
thing
just-
that he's whipped together at the
it's
last
just
second.
whipped.
Gorgeous, y'all. We'll have to leave it there. We thank you so much both for your
Thanks, guys.
time. For more info on the bar and fun upcoming events like the Mother's Day Challenge, visit mothersruinaustin.com. We have a lot of fun here on Studio 512. If you missed any of our great segments, be sure to check out our website where we like to post the fun things we do. Our feed covers content like arts and entertainment, food and drink, fashion and beauty, home and garden, stuff for kids and pets, as well as information from area experts. In addition, you can check out web-exclusive content that you can only find on Studio512TV.com. We also love to post behind-the-scenes funny moments, outfit inspirations, and more on social media. Find us by searching for Studio 512 on your favorite platform. You don't want to miss a single post. Be sure to follow us, check out our website, and watch us every weekday at 11 a.m. right here on CW Austin. Hey, we are happy to be able to offer you some help if you're out there searching for jobs. KXAN has partnered with ZipRecruiter to help you find thousands of job openings in Austin and around the country. Just go to kxan.com/jobs where you can search thousands of new postings every single day. Check it out right now and get started on the path to your next career.